Hello everyone, and welcome back to the third video in this video series in which I'm helping real estate professionals who are suffering from inconsistent pipelines know their options and what those options are, which ones they should choose, and how they can put those options and systems in place in a way that allows them to generate consistent and reliable leads on a daily, monthly, and weekly basis. So they can go from riding that roller coaster of emotion, stress, and income level to generate more closings, peace of mind, and in turn, putting more money in their pocket. My name is Mason Armbruster, and I'm the president and founder of Constant Closings, a real estate specific marketing company that helps agents all across the United States generate consistent inbound conversations and in turn averaging them an additional 3 clients added per month and tens of thousands of dollars in GCI added to their bottom line. Now, if you've been staying tuned to this series, in the first video, we talked about how to generate a pipeline and create a pipeline in the first place if you do not already have one. In the second video, we talked about once you have a pipeline, how you overcome the next 2 big hurdles, which are inconsistency in volume and inconsistency in quality. Now, assuming you've covered both of those issues and solved both of those issues, your third big issue, which is going to be covered in this particular video, is control and scalability. We want to make sure we put the appropriate systems in place from the jump that have the ability to not just be controlled, but also to be scaled accordingly, whether you're an agent who's looking to be a higher performing solo agent, or if you're looking to scale your team or potentially make that jump and transition from being a solo agent to having some people working under you. The first big reason is that somebody else may downright just be in full control of the leads that you are currently generating. And I often use the example of an agent who is on a brokerage. Now, not every brokerage provides leads for their agents, so you are better off than some other agents might be, and you may be a lucky one in that right, but if you're relying solely on the brokerage as your only lead source, you could leave yourself open to a few issues. In this instance, I like to compare your real estate business to gardening. If you can imagine having a large garden in your backyard, and let's say your goal was to grow the biggest and most beautiful garden your neighborhood has ever seen, in order to do so, not only are you going to need water, but you're also going to need a hose and a spigot, right? So you have the source of growth, but then you also have the mechanisms to supply that mechanism of growth. So in comparison to your business, it's very much the same. If you want to grow this beautiful, large real estate business that helps you become a high-performing agent, in a sense that the garden needs water, you are going to need leads. So the leads are your water in this sense. And not only that, you're going to need an appropriate mechanism to supply predictable and reliable water. Now, if you're in an instance where you're setting up your business in a sense that you are relying solely on the brokerage's leads that they're providing you, that would almost be like wanting to grow that beautiful garden in your backyard, except you don't have a hose, you don't have a spigot, you don't have a water, but the neighbor does, and you constantly have to ask them for permission. Not only do you have to get the water from them, but you also have to make sure, 1, that they're home, and 2, they're okay with you using that water. And that's almost like your brokerage. So if you want to kick things up a notch, either you're going to have to go to ask for permission, or you're simply just going to hope that your brokerage is always going to be around. And that may not always be the case. Things could change. They could pull that lead generation system for you away, or at worst case scenario, you may be kicked off the team, or you may shift over to another team that doesn't provide those leads, and then you're, for lack of a better term and pun, you're out of water. That's not something you want to run into. And if that is the case, what you want to do is refer back to the previous 2 videos where I talked about how to set up a pipeline and what your options are to set up a system that is controllable. So 1, you either want to go with the do-it-yourself option, meaning you want to pick up Google, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, one of those social media platforms, and you want to start advertising for yourself or having somebody do it, meaning hire somebody else to do it for you in-house. Now, your other option, and the better option if you value your time, is of course to hire a proven lead generation company that has a proven track record. They have testimonials on their website. They have video evidence of other people expressing their gratitude for the service, and partner up with one of those people. So not only do you have consistent and a reliable source of water, or in this case leads, but you also have more control, more scalability, and you get more time back as a busy real estate professional. Now, the second reason why you may be running into control and scalability is that you may be only relying on referral programs. So if you do already have lead generation systems in place and you're not just relying on referrals or your brokerage, take a look around at the spread of where your leads are coming from. If you're relying solely on commission-based referral-only options, that's probably not going to be enough to keep your business afloat. The reason being, if you have local partnerships with people in the area, you cannot determine or pinpoint the exact time in which that person is going to send you a referral. So there's no consistency, trackability, or data behind that. Now, the other thing is with a lead gen company that may be referral based, most of those options that are referral based, they may get you more leads on a consistent basis than just partnering with somebody in your local area, but typically they have a cap to the amount of people they'll send you or a very strict guideline in terms of grading criteria. Meaning if you're not following up with the people appropriately, if you're not getting them to the closing table, then they're going to send you less leads. And so therefore, again, you're left in the same boat of lack of control and scalability. If that's the case, then what you want to do is refer to what you could do with the first option as well. Either a do-it-yourself option, or if you're somebody who respects your own time and values your own time, partner up with a solidified lead generation company that can do that for you. So not only can you scale that up and have the ability to do so, but you also have the ability to buy back a lot of your time that you would otherwise have to waste trying to do the do-it-yourself option. Now, you should keep in mind, if you're looking to partner up with a lead generation company, you shouldn't just partner up with anybody, of course, just like we talked about in the first video in this series. You should take into consideration whether they can get you steady and consistent leads. You should also make sure they have a reliable track record, videos proving of other people out of their own mouth saying that they've had success with the service, not just trusting quotes that you see online or potentially fake reviews. You want to make sure they have a track record of video evidence of people having success with their program. Once you've done that, the other thing that you want to take into consideration is that not only does that person have the ability for control and scalability into the future, which most pay-per-lead lead generation systems do have, but you also want to make sure that their base level that they're starting you at is enough for you to survive. Meaning some of those people and some of those companies do have the ability to scale over time, but you want to make sure that their base rate, whatever that is, let's say it's 5 leads a month. Well, if their base option is 5 leads a month, is that going to be enough to actually get you off the ground to the point that you actually can close enough deals to actually scale up? So you want to take into consideration where you're entering at a base level with that company and what they can provide at that base level. And then again, double check and make sure they have control and scalability to allow you to ramp that up over time. In the instance here at Constant Closings, not only do we create those custom marketing strategies on the upfront, those custom marketing strategies take into consideration the exact amount of opportunities you need to hit your goals. So the way we personally do it is we reverse engineer everything based on your goals for the year. So if you're an agent who's currently doing 12 homes a year, and by the end of this year, you want to be doing 36 homes a year, then we take into consideration how many homes that gap is between that 12 and 36. And then we take into consideration what your closing ratio and your experience level is. And then from there, we can determine how many people we would need to get you based on your closing ratio to make sure you're going to hit your goals. And then from there, once we know how many people to supply you, then we reverse engineer our strategy around that. So we can put the proper systems in place on the proper platforms to make sure you're getting enough people in front of you to hit those targets. So you want to make sure that somebody's doing something along the lines of what we're doing, or you can, of course, can always just reach out to us and see in more detail how we're doing what we're doing. But those are the important notes. Make sure, one, they have control and scalability, and two, make sure they have a base level that's going to meet your needs to start with. So you're not starting at a base level that's just going to leave you in the same boat that you are already in. And that leaves us with the third big reason you may be having issues with control and scalability, and something you need to address as well, is that you're probably trading too much of your time for money. What do I mean by that? Well, in this particular instance, I'm talking about door knocking, cold calling. All of those old school methods can still produce results. Do not get me wrong. They still work to this day. The only problem is with that, as humans, we only have a finite amount of time, meaning whether it's you or somebody else doing it for you, there is going to be a maximum amount of door knocking you can do or cold calling you can do, because everybody only has 24 hours in a day. So rather than you trading a considerable amount of time to get those leads and to get those results, you can hire somebody else to do that. Whether that's somebody online through a lead generation platform like we talked about, maybe you're hiring somebody in-house that goes and door knocks for you. That is an option as well, or somebody that cold calls for you as well. But you should keep in mind, if you go with that latter option of hiring somebody in-house to simply replace the option you're doing that's trading time for money, you're still doing the same thing, except you're no longer trading your time. So initially, it could be great for you, but keep in mind that those are also humans that have a finite amount of time. So unless you continually add more people, which could eventually keep racking up your expenses as a business owner, you would probably want to opt for the other option of leveraging somebody like us or another marketing company that will do that work for you. You can transfer those old school methods to online means in which you can generate more consistent and reliable leads at a lower cost for less time. And either, again, you can do it yourself, or ideal option, if you value your time as a real estate agent and you want to spend your time doing the money-making activities, leverage another company to do so. So that just about rounds us out. So again, if you're having issues with control and scalability, it comes down to one of three things. Either one, somebody else has too much control, and in that instance, you need to gain back the control by either doing a do-it-yourself option or paying and partnering with another lead generation company. Two, you may be relying too heavily on referrals, and if you're doing that, you need to switch up your lead generation platform. So either do a do-it-yourself option or partner up with pay-per-lead generation services that don't grade you as heavily on your results and handling the leads, and also have the ability to scale up more so than a referral program does. And then, or three, you're trading too much time for money. If you're doing those old school tactics of door knocking, cold calling, or anything else that's eating up a large amount of your time as a real estate agent, then you need to consider hiring somebody else to do that for you, whether that's in-house and another individual, or again, if you're a real estate agent who values your time, you want to hire and outsource somebody else to do it, like a pay-per-lead generation company. Not only will they help you take those old school means online where you can generate a higher amount of leads more consistently at a lower cost, but it'll also allow you to gain that time back and take all of the management off your plate so you can spend your valuable time doing the things that make you the most money as a real estate agent, meeting people, showing homes, and listing properties. And that just about rounds us out for the last video in this series, where we covered how to overcome that inconsistency with your pipeline. And instead of riding that roller coaster of emotion, stress, and income, you can put the appropriate systems in place in a manner that will allow you to generate consistent leads that meet your expectations and in a way that allows you to scale your business without you pulling more valuable time away from your friends, family, and loved ones. Of course, all of these options that I've talked about in the last 3 videos, you can do yourself. So that is an option. And as I mentioned earlier, if you're a real estate professional who truly values your time, you should consider, although you can do this yourself, you should consider the weeks, months, or years that it may potentially take you to dial in all of those systems and get it sorted out for yourself, not to mention the tens, hundreds, or thousands of dollars that you could spend while trying to do so. So again, if you don't want to do that, and you don't want to risk that money and that capital and risk that time, then feel free to book a call with our team below, where we can give you a strategy and a roadmap on the way to getting those 3 extra clients a month. Not only will we be able to help you generate hundreds of leads a month, but we'll also put the systems in place for you to allow you to put them through 3 stages of qualification, in which software screens out all bad phone numbers and bad emails, mini surveys weed out all of the looky-loos and tire kickers, and all of our sales agents do all of the calling, texting, and emailing for you, so you no longer have to be glued to your device, and you can buy back that valuable time for your family. And all said and done, your phone is ringing and your calendar is getting packed with appointments. If you're looking for more of a done-for-you option so you can spare that massive amount of time and effort to do it yourself, feel free to book a call with us in the description below, and either myself or one of our strategists will be talking to you soon.